Welcome to the highlights and match reaction show for the UEFA Champions League. We are sponsored by our partners for the entire season at Topps Kick 23. Topps Kick are the official digital collectibles app of the UEFA Champions League. Topps Kick is back for the 22-23 season, where you can collect and trade your favorite players from across the Champions League with football fans all around the world. The app has new packs available every week, brand new cards, original artworks, and classic top card designs. Throughout the course of this season, I want to build with you the ultimate Champions League squad with Topps Kick. So get the app downloaded right now. It's available worldwide and it is free. I'm going to be playing along throughout the entire Champions League season from tonight right and through to the final, and I want to see you there. The link is available in the description below to download the Topps Kick 23 app. You can also scan the QR code that will be on the screen throughout the course of this stream. But make sure like buttons are being smashed. You're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Big shout out to Topps. Let's do this. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's the highlights and reaction show sponsored by Topps Kicks. I'm joined as ever by the brilliant Jessica Black. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. There wasn't a lot of... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You're a liar. You're an absolute liar. Because don't put the innocent face on. I have got to expose Jess. You've sat here asleep for nearly an hour watching those piss poor games tonight. Then tell me you're all right. You were asleep, drooling 5 minutes ago. Drooling. You wouldn't know it to look at her now, drooling.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of quality tonight. Let's be real. I mean, yeah, it's different when your team is playing, I'm sure. It seems a little bit more exciting, but for the neutral, there just wasn't a lot of quality in either game. One team got the job done. One team didn't. We know who those teams are, but I don't know. I guess we'll get into the nitty gritty of it, but it wasn't great.
Listen, there was some great stuff tonight. Trent Alexander-Arnold's free kick, absolute stunner of free kick, no doubt about it. David Beckham-esque.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, Liverpool's approach play was good. Liverpool created chances. Liverpool's approach play was good. I'm not going to take that away from them. But a lack of clinical edge against a very poor Rangers team will frustrate the majority of Liverpool fans that I know. 110% it will. The other good bit of quality in the game, Simicast's clearance in the dying moments, kept that clean sheet. I think a clean sheet is really important for Liverpool, but the finishing quality, like NUNEZ had so many chances tonight. He was desperate to score, but he just couldn't do it. So I think there's some elements that they won the game, Liverpool. They'll be happy with that, but they'll want to improve, and we're going to get onto why later because they've got to play the best team in the league on Sunday. On Tottenham, people think I've got an agenda. I have no agenda. I just speak as I see things. Another terrible performance. They were up against Frankfurt, who were as limp as a saucy sausage. Soppy, soggy sausage, limp. No power, no finesse. Can't pass, can't cross, can barely dribble. And Spurs couldn't beat them. And Josh King here says, people didn't watch the game and will look at it and say, we played poorly, but actually we were good, just weren't clinical enough. Cooley is a big miss. I agree with the last 5 words. Cooley is a big miss.
Josh.
But the approach play was nice again, but in front of goal. I'm sorry, Josh, you're my guy. You're my guy. You know what happened when we were out in London? You know I'm your guy. I got your back. You know that 100% my G. Top G. But there was no penetration, none. Friend zone football tonight from Tottenham. And listen, that's in the last 4 games, 1 win. No, look, you're good against Leicester, no doubt, but it's another poor performance from Tottenham tonight. Why are they looking so bad, Jessica?
Well, I have to say that I do think that they had, like you guys said, good approach play. They definitely had chances in this game where they didn't have them in the North London derby. Just have to say that again. But I do think that Josh pulls on an interesting point that they're missing out. They're missing Kulusevski badly. He was in form. He's the type of player that gets into the final third and makes things happen. He's the only player that you have besides Harry Kane that can put in the final ball. And what you're seeing with Richarlison and Son is that neither of them can pass. Neither of them have the final ball, and you have them trying to create for each other, trying to create for Kane. Kane was also terrible today. And so you don't have anybody with that final ball quality. And that's really what they're missing, especially when you have two midfielders that's not what they're about. They're basically just like there to recycle possession and things like that. So they're lacking a little bit of balance and a little bit of final third, clinical edge. But I also think they're rattled from the North London derby. I mean, come on. I mean, they had to respond and they didn't. And that shows the mentality is not quite where you may have thought it was, Patrick.
I mean, look, from my point of view, I just want to be like really, really fair. Like Spurs have got some very good players. They've got a manager that everybody knows that I rate. They've got a manager that everybody knows that I think is quality. They've got a team that should be performing better than they are. And it's all about sustainability. City can drop a poor performance, draw or even lose, but they bounce back with performance. Arsenal didn't play that badly, but got beat by Man United. Came back, obliterated Brentford, a team who mocked them last year for how bad they were. Played the North London derby after an international break. Blew Tottenham away. That's how quality teams respond. There's no performance from Tottenham. And with the way Antonio Conte is talking about his players as well, I just worry if the performances don't improve. The way he spoke about Doherty, the way he's treating Jed Spence, I'd be a little bit concerned, if I was a Spurs fan. I wouldn't be panicking, wouldn't be calling for no manager's head, but I'd be starting to get a little bit irritated that with the quality of manager and quality of squad, the expectations that Spurs fans place on their team, it's just another very limp, flaccid performance.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I also think, and, Spurs fans can also chime in on this in the chat, it looked like they were tired. They didn't seem to have energy. And this is my thing. It's like, when it's not your team, you can speak about it. But like Spurs fans, your players look tired already. Remember at the early part of the season when they were talking about they were running suicides and running more than ever and they were at peak fitness? Why is it that we're here now, 8 games into the Premier League season, 3 games into, your Champions League bid, and like you already look dead on your feet? I saw players that look like just in challenges were crumbling to the ground. And so everybody's going to suffer from these midweek games and having to play multiple games per week. And I think Spurs just look like they just didn't have the energy, and I could be wrong, but I think they play Brighton at the weekend. I could be wrong. If that's true, this was the game that you needed to bounce back from because Brighton is no joke.
Totally agree. Spurs fans, what do you think in the comments section? I do want to say a big shout out to Tops Kicks, our title sponsors for every Champions League highlight and match reaction show this season. The Champions League cards are now available. I started buying some today. I got some good players, actually. I got a bit of Jude Bellingham. I got Darwin Nunez. That's why I was gutted he scored. Well, he was in my fantasy team tonight. So if you've downloaded the app, the fantasy game for Champions League football is out. I wanted to win tonight because they were giving away a tier 4 Haaland card. Now that is like team of the week level Haaland card, what they call a ×3 card, meaning every point he scores in fantasy football, they times it by 3. I didn't win. There was 12,000 people in the league tonight. I came 11,000th. I had a bad night, so my team for next week's games are going to be better. I don't even think tomorrow night's games can catch me up this week, but make sure you get Tops downloaded now. Lots of new cards. That's the brand new Son card that's available. There's also that one there is a big boy if you start scoring goals. That's available now. The DARWIN NUNEZ ×4 tier 4 card is available now, so get the app downloaded. It's an amazing game. There's lots more in there as well to do with Bundesliga, MLS, and many other leagues as well. But Tops they're the number 1 for digital collectibles. Get it downloaded. We're going to go to some calls now, as well as speak to you all. We are going to talk about the other results tonight as well, because Napoli had a good night. Napoli beat Ajax 6-1 in Amsterdam. Listen, there's been many a great night in Amsterdam, but this may want to be one of the best in history. Club Brugge Club Bruges.
Yeah.
Beat Atletico Madrid. Barca lost to Inter Milan tonight. So lots for us to react to. We want your thoughts. We want your feelings. We want your opinions as well. We've got backstage for you as well. I'm having a little look down here on my screen. We've got Roms. Roms is backstage ready to go. Jamie Phillips. Long time no see, Jamie. We've got the Don himself, the man that's taking on every Liverpool fan online. This man's like a crusader. He reminds me of, that scene of, I want to say Jon Snow. What's the name of the guy that who slept with his auntie in Game of Thrones? Is it Jon Snow? Nah, it's old. What's his name? Black hair.
Jon Snow, then?
You know who it is. Why aren't you saying?
Because you just said the answer, right?
Yeah, but I'm asking to you to confirm.
Okay.
It's Jon Stone. Jon Stone. This is ruined. I'm going to stop talking. George is backstage as well. He reminds me of the scene. He's got the sword and all the horses running towards him. Was that the Battle of the Bastards? That scene there?
Yeah.
That's Hussam. I got there in the end. That was awful. In fact, you ruined that.
Sorry.
That's absolutely terrible. Terrible there. Hussam 2-1. Oh, yeah. Hussam did predict that. Did he predict that it would be 2-1 Rangers? He's capping there. He's capping. We have some super chats first I'm going to go to these first. Take a bow. Napoli take a bow. Just wow. Also, Conte ball. Yes, Conte ball is not doing good. Barca heading for the Europa again. Lewandowski, is back. Be up against Man United. Be good. We haven't won an away game in Europe for 2 years. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I find that so funny. I mean, is that you said it's not Conte's fault? That's terrible, bruv.
Even in the conference?
Yeah, they did. They got beat a few times. I swear they got beat a few times in the conference. Listen, I shouldn't laugh. My team is in the mud. But Trossard is going to dunk on Spurs just like Paul. And Blaze here says, I can't recognize former Fulham. What was that Anguissa. Sorry, my dyslexia is terrible. In Napoli, mad improvement. They could be dark horses for the Champions League. 6-1 over Ajax today and top of Serie A. They could be. Hey, listen, it was a great result. I haven't seen the game. We were only watching the two that we had on in here, but we want to get your reactions. First on the show, though, Dom Hussam is back with us to give us his thoughts and his feelings tonight. What you saying, my brother?
Hi, guys. We won a game of football. I'm so happy, honestly. Whew. I needed that victory. Because the Europa League anthem was playing in my head, so I didn't need that. I didn't need the whoa for the Champions League anthem. So I'm good with the Champions League anthem. First of all, whoever said 2-1 in the comment section, don't lie on my name. I never made that prediction. I said we were gonna win 3-0 or draw 1-1. So I said, either or. So thank God the good thing happened. Look, positives. Today, only positives to talk about. Much better performance, much improved performance. There's winning by, smash and grab, and then there's winning comfortably. And today, absolutely incredible performance. 4-2-3-1 today. Changed system, playing both NUNEZ and Jota together. Jota right behind NUNEZ. And I thought that actually offered protection because, the player that's been under scrutiny by a lot of people, Trent, Van Dijk, everyone, sort of even in the midfield and etc. Today, it actually provided us with a bit more protection. And the stuff that we've been doing post Brighton, after I came on the terrace, I went and I looked back at a few clips. There were clips in game multiple times in which Henderson was the furthest player forward, Trent tucked into midfield, and Salah was hugging the touchline. And that's something that they've been working on in terms of the new system with the 4-3-3, with Henderson as the right central midfielder. I think now you push Henderson back next to Thiago or a Fabinho next to a Thiago, and you play a 4-2-3-1. You give so much more stability to the team. And I think that's something moving forward that should be done. I spoke about it in the summer, either change formation or change personnel. Today we changed formation, look a lot better. The negatives from the game for me is, I'm going to have to say it, DARWIN NUNEZ. Today, once again, Mo Salah, by the way, big up Mo Salah. Creativity today on display. Created 2-3 great opportunities. NUNEZ should have scored today. There is no excuses. Respectfully, a player that costs that much money, I'm not going to sit up here and make excuses. Oh, he got into the right positions. I hope a 65 million player can get into the right positions at least, So congratulations for getting in the right position, but we need that goal. And today he had multiple opportunities to score and he didn't score. But overall, Very happy. 3 points. Yes, you got me. Big up Jess as well. Maybe you'll be in this competition next season. So big up to you.
Maybe.
They probably will be. Does this feel you? I mean, I want to ask you about Trent. Great free kick. His celebration though was a bit. I'm not going to say it was Maguire-esque, but what made me laugh? There's no smoke. It was just, and I saw Klopp point at him. Yeah. No one's complained about his scoring ability or his crossing ability. It's like I think Trent can celebrate like I'm the man when he puts in 2 or 3 good defensive displays. What do you reckon?
I think Trent should celebrate because he's under a whole lot of scrutiny by an international manager that is the epitome of what is wrong with the new footballing world, which is celebrating failure, celebrating getting to a semi-final, celebrating getting to a final, not knowing how to coach a team properly. And by the way, if Southgate was consistent, you know me, I love consistency. If Southgate was consistent, he wouldn't start Maguire. So you're telling me, you know, you don't pick players on merit and players are well-rounded and blah, blah, blah. So why is Maguire starting? It just, the logic isn't logicking. I think Bukayo Saka should be a shoo-in to start, for example. He doesn't necessarily start every game. So, you know, Southgate is not consistent. I want Trent. See this Trent, see this guy, right? See, he can win you a game with one moment. And this is sometimes what you need in a World Cup. You just need one moment. One moment in an international competition wins you stuff. And Terry, you should know this because, you know, you grew up watching England. Scholes was on the bench for Owen Hargreaves. So sometimes the international managers don't really make the best of decisions. So I'm happy, and he's gonna put in a performance against Arsenal when we win this Sunday. So
we're not Rangers.
So the answer to my answer to the question is yes. Then
no, the answer is no. He should celebrate.
I'm only joking, but Paul Scholes was delivering for Man United. Look, I think with Trent, look, he's under a lot of pressure. I don't really care about what Southgate said is wrong, actually.
Yeah.
Trent's under pressure because he's costing you goals in nearly every single game that you guys concede in, and he needs to improve on that. For you guys, you've got to hope that goal gives him that confidence back, because Martnelli on Sunday is very different from it. Was it Kent he was up against tonight, or whoever it was at Rangers? I don't even know. Like Rangers would get relegated from the Prem. They wouldn't even win the championship. So he's got to improve a bit.
Terry, listen to me. See, you're doing this Spurs hatred a bit too much as well. I saw earlier on. You're doing this Arsenal loving, this Spurs hating. You're becoming, you see, being next to Jess in these match reactions and making you love Arsenal a bit too much. All I'm going to say is this. My brother Terry, Trent Alexander-Arnold has come up against Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe. Martinelli is a nobody compared to them. So this Sunday he will deliver. I will remind you of this. See, you know me, I call things. This Sunday Martinelli will be in his back pocket. And remember who Sam said this when you're watching the game. Okay?
But it's funny because after you guys drew to Brighton, you weren't sure. Now that you beat Rangers, who probably would get relegated from the championship, now all of a sudden you're going to cook.
The Rangers
you drew to Brighton and you weren't sure. Now all of a sudden you have chest.
I didn't say. I went back and watched.
I will see you on Sunday. I will see you on Sunday. Clip that.
Sam, you take care, my bro. I'm sure we'll speak later in the week. Thanks for coming on, brother. All the best. Free kick against Rangers. And Martinelli is done for. Look, I can't wait for Sunday's game. The only issue I got with Sunday's game is it's before Man United play, so I can't 100% enjoy it. But there we go. Next on the show, we're going to speak to Spurs fan. George is with us now. Another disappointing day at the office for Spurs fans. What are you saying, mate?
As you said, another disappointing day at the office. It's far too similar as to what's happened far too many times this season. I mean, the front three, they are what I like to think one of the best front threes in Europe, not alone, let alone the league. Just haven't been themselves. We created so many chances today. We actually played good, as despite what other people might say. We actually played good football. We broke them down. We created so many chances, but we just couldn't find that final touch. We couldn't finish our dinner. And I heard Jess say earlier about our players look tired. I don't think that they look tired because, as in physically, they were running and there was a lot of pressing, and we actually pressed a lot more than we did in other games. But mentally, I hear you, because on the first touch, a lot of players looked a bit leggy. They looked like they weren't mentally just that sharpness. They weren't ready. to play in that game. And I was just far too disappointed in too many players. Again, similar to Arsenal, it just wasn't a great performance all round. We needed to do just that little bit extra, and we were missing that individual quality. So players like Kane, players like Son, they needed to step up today, and they failed to do that yet again. It's the Champions League. It's looking a bit funky for Conte as well, because now his record is looking even worse. And I'm hearing we haven't won an away game in Europe in what, 7 games? Our last 7 games we haven't won in away in Europe, which is, it's a horrible stat. It's stunning, because the teams we've played aren't amazing. They really aren't amazing. We should be getting results, and it's just not good enough.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm being called out right now by a few Spurs fans on Twitter. They think I've got an agenda because I felt you underperformed tonight. And I think this season's been the first time in a while, and you were very honest on Saturday, but I've heard this from a lot of Spurs fans. They believe they had some Spurs fans believe they had multiple and better opportunities than Arsenal on Saturday. And I'm seeing Spurs fans say you did have some opportunities tonight, but when you have only 11 shots on target against an inferior team and only 2 on target, I don't see how anyone can call that performing well. I don't know about you. Like, you've got to, you didn't work the goalkeeper. So at the end of the day, you're a superior team with a world-class manager with 2 or 3 of the best forwards in the Champions League. To not test their goalkeeper, like I would, if that was Man United, I'd say we underperformed. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, that's where it is for me. For me, like, we looked better, and that's why people would say we played good, because we didn't concede so much of the ball like we have in the past couple of games. But we didn't finish our chances. We didn't have enough shots on goal. We didn't test the keeper enough. And when we was in those right positions, we just weren't taking the shots. I feel like our team is lacking confidence, and I know that I feel like we're missing Kulu. I feel like Kulusevski needs to come back. Once he comes back, our team does look a bit more clinical. He's a bit more clean with the dribbling, and he can take players on a lot better and force us up the pitch. Because Son and Richarlison, they look like they can't take a man on at the moment. I really don't know what's going on. And go on, Jess.
Do you feel like the way that you guys play, the Conte style, where it's kind of like against Frankfurt, you didn't concede as much possession as you did against Arsenal, but the way that you play, do you feel like you guys almost have to be perfect because there's a limited amount of chances, and you have elite level strikers, but it puts pressure on them to be really, really clinical, and sometimes not having enough chances might be the reason why you don't, make your benchmarks what you want to do this season? How do you feel about that?
It does make sense. I mean, we are definitely a team that doesn't create a lot of chances in general, and we do rely on the clinicalness of our players. But I feel like in the games that we have lost, say the Arsenal game and this game, I feel like we put ourselves in, and Conte set us up to play well, and we put ourselves in the good positions. We were just lacking the individual quality. So you are right in some games that when the individual quality is lacking, that's probably going to be the reason we fall short. But we expect the players that we have, those world-class players in Harry Kane and Son, to not lack that individual quality, especially in the big moments, and especially in the Champions League. They need to turn up. And even the chances we missed, Son, I mean, he scored the exact chance that he missed. He scored that against Man City a few years ago. I saw him do it. Like, these are chances that these guys put away game in, game out. He done it against Leicester, and they would just look off tonight. So, and another day, it's a different story. But today, it wasn't good enough.
Here you are. Listen, bro, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. I do, and that's always hard to do when it's not the right result. I've had many of them myself in recent years. It's shit. But listen, you take care, George, and I'm sure we'll speak later in the week, bro.
Thank you, man. You guys have a good night.
Brother. Thank you very much indeed. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed and you're downloading the Tops Kick 23 app, the best digital collectibles game app store. Call it many things. I just call it the game, really. It's absolutely brilliant. It really is. The new Champions League 2022-23 cards and packs are now being released. The Fantasy Football League is out as well, and we're going to be playing that every match week between now and the end of the campaign. I had a brilliant night tonight. Came about 11,000th. How well will I do next week? I don't know. I feel a bit depressed about that, really. I'm going to have to study it more next week. Some of you computer geeks have done me big time. A lot of you have been DMing me going, I've got more points than you. I know. But make sure you get it. Make sure you get it downloaded right now, my people. We had another super chat come in. Disgusting from Hassam. Martinelli cooks. Oh, I didn't read that out properly, but Trent is what he meant to say there. Trent thinks he's big after being destroyed monthly. And this is from our Waterhead coach, destroyed everything Ten Hag built in 4.5 years. How do I pronounce that name?
Schroeder.
Is that it? I was going to say Strudel. Out. Embarrassing. I thought you were a Spurs fan. I cup my...
Spurs.
You don't say that word. I don't like words like that. Wind is what I was going to say. Keep it nice and polite. Might be a few children watching and whatever else. I never swear on the channel. But there we go. What team is Terry a fan of? Jean-Pierre, you know what team I support, my little mucker. I know
Arsenal.
I don't support Arsenal. I really don't. Next on the show, Roms is here. Big Liverpool fan. What you saying, mate?
I'm good, Karen. Good, Tay. Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I'm just happy we got the win because I started to hear the Europa League song, and I know you and Jess were debating the other day, which is the better song, but it's definitely the Europa night. I think that tune is clear now. But I'm happy we've got the win. I always think in the Champions League you need to try and get your 3 home wins to put you in good stead going forward. I want to start on a positive because that Trent goal was it was a worldie. What a free kick it was. He had one of his better performances. I'll say as a collective, we had one of our better performances. Van Dijk and Matip. Tsimikas is more technically sound. He actually beats the first man on the corner, which something Robbo needs to take heed of and take a leaf out of Simi's book. Thiago and Hendo in the midfield, I think they were excellent. Hendo even getting in more advanced positions and actually playing that cutting through ball at times, which we're not used to seeing that at all. Salah, I think he's now, correct me if I'm wrong, he's now the second joint top goal scorer in the Champions League for an English side, joint with Thierry Henry. And his creativity today, me personally, I like him close to the goal, but his creativity today was amazing. But because it didn't necessarily result in an assist, it won't get spoken about. Diaz being the live wire he is, very direct, won the penalty, and Jota in that 10. A lot of Liverpool fans have been screaming for the 4-2-3-1 to have that elusive 10. I think Jota linked play from the 2 deeper midfielders to the forward men very well. Darwin Núñez, though, like I said, I want to keep this positive because there's many times I've come in here of a negative result. But when Liverpool fans say his movement's good, it's not his movement. His running into the channels is good. His actual movement in the box isn't the greatest. There's times he could have pulled away tonight. And maybe he's young. Hopefully that comes. But his overall movement isn't the greatest for me. And he should have scored. We can't keep saying, oh, he worked hard. He ran the channels well. He should have at least scored tonight for me. But I'm just happy we got the win because we're not used to winning this season. That is the main thing.
Yeah, I think with Darwin Núñez, do you feel like a lot of Liverpool fans are maybe now regretting he will outscore Haaland predictions? Because it's those predictions that it's never actually on the players. It's those predictions that create more attention to the player when they're not delivering. It's not their fault, but it's like I would say 80% of Liverpool fans that I saw online predicted Núñez to outperform him, especially after the Community Shield game. Do you feel like that and missing 3 games might be putting a bit of pressure on him?
Yeah, because he didn't do himself any justice. Because I do feel if he had not got that red card, he would have had a bit more momentum and rhythm at the moment. So I do feel it has 100% put more pressure in him. But I kind of want to discuss a slight problem with tonight. The only our Achilles heel this season has been our right-hand side, and the only thing that still worries me, you could say because Thiago and Hendo came off and we had different personnel, but we're still being targeted on the right. When Matundo came on, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and Sakala came on, we then started to look a bit vulnerable. It took a worldie save from Alisson, who's been our constant this season, and an excellent goal line clearance from Tsimikas. And my worry is now, I have to bring this back down to negative. I do think we're about to face 2 successive Premier League losses. I'm not as positive as Hassam. I do feel that's coming. And why I feel that is coming is this formation, we need to make this a consistent thing because I do think Klopp will revert back to type and the narrative will carry on being the same this season. We will then struggle against Arsenal and City. But I hope we now go forward with this formation because the 4-3-3 has not been working. But yeah, I hope I'm wrong, but I do feel now we're staring at 2 Premier League losses in a row. So these 2 Rangers games are very important for us.
So do you count the draw against Brighton as a loss, basically?
Yeah, you know me. I can't.
Mate, I hear you on that. I look at the games like that when a team of your superiority draws to a team like Brighton at home, it is basically a loss. So
you guys are playing Arsenal and then City right after, right?
Yeah, so three losses. That's what I meant, Terry. I didn't even mean the Brighton game. I meant Arsenal and City.
Yeah.
I think we're now gonna lose 2 consecutive games. So these 2 Rangers games, we have to win to lift spirits, to have some sort of Champions League campaign. But it is worrying because I feel Klopp will revert back to type. We will go back to that 4-3-3, and it has not done us any good this season.
You know what's interesting?
You're loving this.
What's interesting too is like I get like, you know, you're worried about your right-hand side. Our strong side is our left side. Exactly. And I just feel like,
my strong hand.
It's gonna be that's our strong hand. Left side, strong side. Good luck. No, joking. It's gonna be a tight game still.
I pray I'm wrong, but
it's not going to be a tight game, but we're going to preview that later on in the week. Rom's my G. Thanks for coming on, man, and I'll speak to you again soon. Take care. Thank you. We're going to talk about, stay with this, people. We are going to talk a little bit of Arsenal Liverpool later, and I've got a big statement to make about the Tottenham.
Yeah.
Calm yourself down, young lady. Chill with the steel. Next on the show, Saint is here with us. What you saying, Saint? Big Liverpool fan. Chat your business, bro. What you saying, G?
Muted.
You're muted, my guy.
I'm sorry to start that one again. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Happy that we won the game. Do you know what I mean? But Terry, I actually want to talk to you about this, yeah? You know Lee Gunner, right?
Yeah.
When Lee used to say pointless runs of form, you know what I mean? He always used to say that. And I kind of understood where he was coming from. And you did call him out on this. And it was like, basically, from where Arsenal were at the time, no one really expected them to do much. No one would have said that they were title challengers or anything like that. They were really aiming to get into the top 4. That was their primary goal at that time. So the form and the sustained, do you know what I mean, was actually building towards that. And his thing was, well, if we're not going to win the league, then what good is it? I'm right.
Yeah. So that is it. Ballpark is what he said. Yeah.
I feel that or rather Liverpool, we're in the very space that Lee's way of thinking was. Do you know what I mean? I feel like with us, we were what, 2 games away from a quad. Do you know what I mean? So we were supposed to be the ones challenging City. For me, I said on my channel early with Hassam that let's not take our eyes off of the prize. Like City 3-peat if they win this league. Do you know what I mean? Which they now look like they're dancing to it. Do you know what I mean? And so we need to actually do something and stop it. And our lack of activity in the summer showed me that we were nowhere near this. Like along with other things. So like really and truly, I feel like how Lee felt with Arsenal, but I feel like I'm more justified in feeling how he did, because really and truly, like Rom said, we're gonna lose to or drop points at least to Arsenal and City. Regardless, let's just say that we didn't, and let's say that we beat Arsenal and say we drew to City, and our fan base would be like, yeah, what? So what? Where does it ultimately get us? Do you know what I mean? Like for our fan base to be like, well, you know, top 4's the limit now. How is that the case? When the only time that Klopp has been in charge, and I backed that, was because of valid excuses being the defense or whatever the case may be. I gave that. We don't even have that now. So like, yeah, I'm happy with the win, but ultimately, like Rom said,
mate, I hear you. I think it's mate. No, I hear you. There's I would say most Liverpool fans would say they learned absolutely nothing about their team tonight. Rangers are such a bad team. Beating them it's beyond like cannon fodder and a standard result. It was actually probably an underperformance because you should have put 4, 5, 6 goals past them tonight and you didn't. And I think if you perform how you did, and even Rangers had opportunities in this game, if you perform to tonight's level against Arsenal, they skin you. They skin you. And then City, if your defense, listen, so if you perform defensively against City, how you have been against Brighton, Haaland scoring 3 or 4 in that game as well. 110%. And that's not a dig. I'm not being nasty. Like, the level of improvement needed from Liverpool right now is so high.
Tremendous.
It's unbelievable. It's
Tremendous.
unbelievable. Which was why I wasn't even having a dig at Trent. I get he's under pressure and he should celebrate scoring a goal. But for me, it was the arms apart that now what you're saying. I just thought that is asking to be memed on Saturday. And sometimes players have got to learn. Sunday, sorry. It's almost like just keep your powder dry, mate, and celebrate. But it's Rangers you just scored against. It's Rangers, bro. Do
you know, we won against Heights and it was a good performance, but we could have come out of there with a draw, realistically.
Yeah.
Napoli just gone and put 6 past them. Do you know what I mean? Like, when we actually look at it, like, we are a shadow of where we need to be. And
I hear you 110%, brother. I really hear you, bro. Listen, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. And we'll chat again soon, my G. Take care, mate. Thank you very much indeed. I'm not even having a dig. Arsenal, Liverpool. I know we'll preview it later on in the week properly, but there can't be an ounce of you that's scared right now. You cannot be scared of this Liverpool team.
But let's be real. Like, as much as I'm talking smack now, we haven't beat them in a long time. Our freaking record against them is atrocious. Now, do I expect us to leave there with something? I expect us to be at our place and leave with something. And we're definitely the team in better form, but don't get it twisted. Like, Liverpool is still a good team, but this is the time. You know, they're not in good enough form where I don't think that, like, I think we could get something out of it. And so, yeah, I'm kind of expecting 3 points, but I wouldn't be surprised if we bottled it, because look at our record against them. I don't think we've scored a goal against them in 2 years. And we play them a lot.
I do get that.
It's a mental thing.
I do get that. And I never do, generally speaking, I never do foregone conclusions. I never do 100%. Of course, Liverpool can win the game. But the level of confidence is at the Emirates, right? Yeah. For me to drop points to this Liverpool team now at the Emirates, that'll be because it's all about form. Like, I know it's Liverpool and they've got good attackers, so you're gonna have to defend well. There's no doubt, because they can still attack. But defensively, they are so weak and unsturdy. It should be like taking candy off of a baby. That's how poor I think they are defensively right now, Liverpool. I'm very excited about the game. I really, really am. I see a couple of goals for Jesus. I see this being a big game for Arsenal, and another one of those games where more people. I saw another big content creator this weekend. Oh my God, they're so good, Arsenal. No one saw this coming. Some people saw it. I don't know who. Some people saw it coming. You know what I mean? I don't know. Oh my God, they're so good. No one knew this was gonna. Some people did. Some people saw it. I don't know who they were. I don't know who those people were, but yeah, some people did.
Yeah.
And on Tottenham, I want to say this about Tottenham. They're going to the Europa League.
Whoa, whoa.
They're going to the Europa League. And I know people say, oh, Terry, he's got an agenda. Terry hates on us. Terry's not being nice to us. Do you know what I mean, bruv? I just mean it. You're going to go out. You'll beat Frankfurt in the next game, but Lisbon will beat you at your ground. Sporting will beat you, and then you'll lose away to Marseille. They will lose their final 2 games. They'll beat Frankfurt, then they'll lose their last 2 games. 1, Spurs. 2, Antonio Conte in the Champions League is basically Dave Bassett, Ted Lasso. In the Champions League, he ain't Antonio Conte. It's like it does something to him. You know, like Samuel lost his powers when he cut his hair off? There's something about the Champions League. It stops Conte being Conte. It does. It does, man, like Antonio Sampson. Like, it loses him. They will end up in the Europa League, in my opinion. And I'm making a big statement here. I think we're starting to see the beginning of the end of Conte.
These are big words at the
No,
right
it is
now.
big, and it is big. And I'll tell you what's I've been thinking about it a lot today. It's the calling out of players. What is it? I'm actually gonna get his quote up, right? I'm gonna get his quote up and what he said about. Bear with me, people, because this is legit, right? This is what he said about Doherty. I want to put this up, right? I want to make sure I spell his name right as well. Doherty. Is that how you spell it? Yeah, right. This is what he said. And I've got a rationale for this. Let me just get to what he said here. Someone asked if Doherty was going to, why isn't Doherty starting? His words were, I'm not stupid. I don't want to lose, right? I'm not stupid. I don't want to lose. I'm not making this up. 110%. In fact, I can't play the soundbite because it's not connected to this computer, but that's what he said. I'm not stupid. I don't want to lose. And I'll tell you why I think that's significant. I'll tell you why I think it's significant. They're not playing well. The pressure is going to start to mount. You've got some very, very honest Tottenham fans like George who are like, we're not playing well. At the moment, there's a lot towing the party line. There's a lot of the Jose outers that are unwilling to admit that they are so unhappy with how they're playing. They're unhappy Tottenham fans. They just don't want to admit it. They're like those, you sometimes see a guy, he's married, he's carrying all them shopping bags on a Saturday. He's smiling, but he's really crying. That's Spurs fans right now. They are not enjoying life under Antonio Conte. And he's digging at players. The way he's treating little Jed Spence, poor little Jed Spence, talking about him like he's not my player. He ain't good enough. The club signed him. I didn't want him. Talking about Doherty in this way, it isn't going to take long. A few more bad results, going out the Champions League, and it all erode. People are going, oh, Terry's just clutching at straws. It's an opinion. It's an opinion.
Oh my God.
I mean it. It's the beginning of the end has started. For me, when managers start disrespecting their players in that way, publicly, it's the beginning of the end. I can't remember. Can anyone remember the last time a manager started talking about this about players publicly and it ended well?
No.
If you can in the comments, let me know. Please educate me legitimately. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm laughing at what he said because he ain't my manager. But imagine saying, why aren't you starting Doherty? I'm not stupid. I don't want to lose.
How are they going from like potential title contenders to the beginning of the end? Like, you know what I mean?
I didn't say they were title contenders. I've predicted them to finish in the top 4, but my opinions are like a lot of things. Opinions in society, it's fluid, and you've got to be fluid with your opinions because things change. It's just the way he's speaking about players. I don't think it's going to wash. He kind of did a bit of it last year and it galvanized the team. But that kind of tactic, it loses. Like, have you had a boss that shouts all the time? You kind of lose a little bit. They're not that scary anymore. My parents were like that. My mum shouted all the time. Me and my brothers used to laugh in the end because she shouts at everything. My dad didn't. When my dad raised his voice, you were shaking to your core because he didn't do it often. And Antonio Conte, I think he's got to be careful because the modern day footballer does not go for this type of behavior. Plus, the performances are awful. You go through Tottenham's performances this year. I'm going to look at this now. I can't find them here. Bear with me again. I'm clicking on things on the screen so I can make my statement make maybe a little bit more sense to some. But I look at Spurs' performance this season, and I've gone through this, and I mean it. In the Premier League, let's do it first. Excellent in the first game against Southampton, no doubt. Terrible against Chelsea. Average against Wolves. They were good against Nottingham Forest. I'll give them that, but they did concede some chances in the beginning. Average against West Ham. Okay against Fulham. But let's give them that as a good performance. Okay? Good in the second half against Leicester. Terrible against Arsenal. You look at the Champions League. Okay? They beat Marseille but weren't very good. They attacked better than Marseille, but they weren't very good. Battered by Lisbon. Poor today. That's 3 or 4 good performances all year. The manager attacking these players publicly. I see cracks. I see cracks. And I ain't talking about the hairline. Legitimately, I mean it. I really, really do. I really do. A lot of people will disagree with me, but that's football for you. You do, didn't you? Enrique slagged Messi in 2015 and won the treble. Did he? Okay, cool. That's a good example. I'll take that one on board. But I don't know what he said about him. Did he say I'm not stupid? I can't play Messi as we'll lose games. I don't know if he did say that. Terry, your girlfriend is American. No comment. I don't speak about my private life online, bar my kids. What? Where's this coming from? How is this Spurs transfer window looking now? Yeah, bro. Do you remember the Sixth Sense and all that?
Oh my god.
They did that for Jed Spence. The manager don't want him. They had a sub goalkeeper, Longley on there, and an extra from last of the summer wine.
I mean, yeah, their best signing has been Richarlison, and that's something I did not anticipate. But everybody else has kind of just been. Where's Basuma, by the way? I think he's injured now, but it was just really funny. There was a lot of chest about Basuma, and he ain't even really been in the team. So, yeah, that transfer window is definitely not looking as good as it did before.
Yeah, we'll change his name from Jed Spence to Bench Spence. That's what we're going to call him now, Bench.
Yeah.
Terry, do you know that what Haaland is doing at City right now should have been Harry Kane, but he has decided to stay at Spurs? Small baller mentality. Listen, everyone knows how much I love Harry Kane. I think he's a sensational footballer. But yeah, he should be doing what Haaland. He wouldn't be doing what Haaland's doing. Haaland is a better goal scorer than him, and I don't even mean that disrespectfully. They put, it's funny. I've seen Sky and 90 Min, all these big channels now putting out Haaland's performances on his first 100 appearances. How many goals he scored by the time that he's 22. And now everyone's talking about what Terry Fleurs has been talking about. I'm talking about myself in the third person. I'm only messing. But what I've been talking about for over a year with Haaland, I was getting laughed at for saying these things, laughed at, ridiculed. And now everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. At 22 years of age, Messi had 45 goals. This man's on 173. I got it wrong. Obviously, I must have misread the stats. They looked at the first 100 league appearances. He has got more. I think he's got 20 more goals than R9 did. Than R9! Sorry to shout. Yeah. RIP the earphones. Haaland's great, but we'll talk about him more tomorrow on the show.
Can you feel?
Can you sing?
The love. I was watching Lion King last night. And I was singing that song. I was loving it. I love that movie so much.
That movie is so overrated.
It's so good.
I'm joking. I love Lion King. That's like winding people up sometimes. I support Ajax and United, mate. I had to support Spuds after Colleen rejected me last week. That's why. I get you now. Didn't say I'm not stupid, but bench Messi. Well, there's nothing wrong with benching someone. That isn't what I'm talking about. Did he come out in public and say that he'd be stupid? That's my point. He didn't say that about Messi. Thank you for confirming that, my friend. Thank you. What are you laughing at? What we saying here? Yeah, listen. I don't even know why I'm laughing. Javerne's cracking me up over there. All those who predicted Spurs in the top three, like a famous left back, Patrice. Patrice Evra. It does say Patrick, right?
It says Patrick.
Yeah, sorry, head off. Patrick Evra. Hey,
One said no violence, but they deserve some serious slaps.
Yeah. There we go.
I actually did predict them to finish in the top three. I still feel like Spurs for me are so frustratingly, like they frustrate me because they don't have to play well, but they still get the points somehow. I still think that they're going to be fine. They're just not going to be as good as maybe some of their fans thought initially.
Just like I said, but I got ridiculed for it. I got slagged off for it. Got attacked online. Bullied. I love to see Jamie Carragher doing a segment about me online. Stop the abuse. Leave me alone. Jamie Phillips still to come up. Dom, I don't know who Dom supports. He must be a Liverpool fan. He's got Anfield in the background. That'd be weird if he's a Spurs fan with a Liverpool background.
Yeah.
This man needs to answer questions. Dom's here with us now. What are you saying, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. I think I've joined the party late.
I thought so. How you doing, mate? You right?
Yeah, good, man. Good, especially after tonight. Just give us a little bit of belief now.
A little bit. I mean, how do you assess the start of the season for Liverpool?
Mixed bag of emotions. So it started off with the Community Shield, and we all thought, that's it. No one's getting close. And obviously, shit the bed. First few games, we were nowhere near good enough. But yeah, tonight, it feels like a bit of a game changer. It takes a big manager to change his system. And I wasn't expecting Klopp to do it. However, he has done it. He's been brave, and it looks like it's paid off.
I mean, are you that impressed with the performance against Rangers? Do you feel like it was that good?
Listen, it's Rangers, and no disrespect to Rangers, but they're not a top-level Premier League side, so we'll see on Sunday against Arsenal.
Do you think you'll stick with the 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if you do. And as you say, it does take a lot for someone like Klopp to change the system. And I saw the formation before it started. And it kind of, I do think Darwin is going to need someone around him. It gives me that right now, he's definitely going to need someone around him to kind of help him. And I don't look at Jota as an out-and-out number 9. I think being that secondary striker suits him a lot better anyway. So it's going to be an intriguing one. How do you think you'll get on, Dom, this weekend against Arsenal?
I don't know. I always feel a bit Arsenal have got an Arsenal in them, and I know they give Spurs a lot of flack for that, being a Spursy. But Arsenal have always got a performance in them where you think we thought it was going well. So if we turn up there, you know, I'd be happy with a point now. I'll be honest, but I think we should be going there for the greater 3 points.
Hear you on that, my friend. Dom, I really appreciate you calling in, man. Make sure you call back another time, buddy, and we'll chat again soon. Top man. Cheers, Dom. Thank you very much indeed. Jamie's with us now. Big Liverpool fan as well. What are you saying, mate?
Good evening, Terry. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well. Are you as confident as Dom? Do you feel like tonight was a turning point for the season?
I don't know if it's a turning point. Look, it's Rangers and they're like League One level. So it's really hard to judge, but a lot of Liverpool content creators and a lot of Liverpool fans online were saying that they wouldn't be surprised if we went 1-0 down tonight and things like that. So from the way we played, a much more professional performance, we're better through the whole team as well. And the change of formations really helped us because if you look at the 4-3-3 Klopp plays week in, week out, the spine of our team is 30 to 31 years of age. So Klopp's asking a team like that old through the spine of your team to play 4-3-3 like they did 5 years ago. You know, so they're not going to be able to press. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, age catches you up. It's just natural. So if you're 30 years old, you're not going to press like you were 26. It's just, so he has to tweak it a little bit. And I'm glad he actually did tweak it tonight. And it worked. We looked better for it. We controlled the game better. There's problems still, obviously. We've got to talk about, obviously, everyone still attacks down our right-hand side. But that's not going to be fixed overnight. That's the thing all teams see and going to continue to do. Everyone's going to exploit our right-hand side because after one game, it's going to continue till we get it, you know, till we start to defend properly on that right-hand side. Till then, teams won't stop. They will carry on. So it will be a problem. But we've got to deal with that in a more professional way. And we did that today of Rangers. And I was happy with the performance, but it's not like, right, we're back now, right, bring on Arsenal and City. We go. No, it's not, is it? Let's be grown up about it. You know, we're playing a team that's not very good to Arsenal, who are probably playing the best football in England right now. So it's going to be a much different game on the weekend. Yeah. But I'm really hoping Klopp keeps this formation because, as you say, Darwin Núñez looks like a striker who needs his mates. He
needs support. He needs support around him. There's no doubt. He is not. You know, even listen. I mean, I'm not someone who slags Haaland off. You heard Pep say it the other day. Haaland's not Messi. Haaland won't score more than 2 or 3 goals this season that he creates himself. He needs people around him. Haaland, though, where he's different to Darwin, his ability to hold the ball up is a lot better. And Darwin needs to develop in terms of that. And until he does, playing as the lone striker is going to be so hard for him. So he's going to, I think if he has Jota around him, someone a little bit closer, it's going to help. And that's important. And the fact that Klopp changed his system, I think, is important. The only reason I didn't really speak about it tonight, I saw the formation earlier. I wanted to double check I actually went back and checked it just then when Dom mentioned it, because sometimes the websites that put the formations out. They put it out at the start before kickoff, and then the game starts and they change the formation because they realize
completely different.
They've got it wrong. I've seen a number of times that three at the back, and then you don't have three at the back. There's a centre back plan at right back or whatever. So I'm not suggesting that tonight with Liverpool. So I wanted to check, but it'd be interesting to see whether or not he sticks with that in the next game and doesn't revert back to type. So it'd be interesting. But Jamie, mate, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say and waiting so patiently this evening. Thank you very much, my friend.
Appreciate it.
And we'll speak again soon. Top man. Now, listen, as I said, people, you need to scan that QR code down in that corner or click on the link to download Top Kicks 23. The Champions League packs are now available. I want you to have a go at setting up a fantasy team for tomorrow night. We can compare our scores tomorrow evening when we're on the show. You've got to do that as well. And we're gonna look at them tomorrow night. So make sure you don't be missing out tomorrow night. You don't want to be behind the curve, as it were. It's a brilliant app. Get it downloaded now. If you're a bit like me, I love it because I grew up collecting the sticker books and cards, and I played a lot of top trumps as a kid. It's a game I enjoyed. This is the digital version, so get it done. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's tuned in. I think we have a few more chats actually to go to that have been starred here. If Reece James can keep Liao quiet, could be good. Yeah, it'll be a big night tomorrow night. We're obviously covering Chelsea, Milan, and Manchester City in the Champions League tomorrow night. We're back here. Yo, Terry, prediction. I'm going to go have a Chelsea 2-1 win. Chelsea 2-1 in that game tomorrow night. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go with a Milan win, actually.
Milan?
2-1.
Milan.
Milan.
If Liverpool lose to Arsenal and City, Liverpool will be 17.
They're not going to lose.
You remember how the mum in Nutty Professor used to clap? That's how I feel about it. I was like, yeah. Hercules. I love that film. I ain't watched that in a minute. That's a great film. Number 2 is not so good. That was one with Janet Jackson, right? Not Jada.
Yeah.
I preferred it with Jada. That's when Jada was different. Before the scandals, I'm waiting for a Giroud hat trick. That's not happening, in my opinion. But there we go. Listen, everyone that has tuned into the show, a massive thank you to each and every one of you. Jessica Black, appreciate your time and your effort as always. Javern over there on the controls, thank you. Take care. Good night. God bless. See you in a bit.
Welcome
Peace.
to the highlights and match reaction show for the UEFA Champions League. We are sponsored by our partners for the entire season at Topps Kick 23. Topps Kick are the official digital collectibles app of the UEFA Champions League. Topps Kick is back for the 22-23 season, where you can collect and trade your favorite players from across the Champions League with football fans all around the world. The app has new packs available every week, brand new cards, original artworks, and classic top card designs. Throughout the course of this season, I want to build with you the ultimate Champions League squad with Topps Kick. So get the app downloaded right now. It's available worldwide and it is free. I'm going to be playing along throughout the entire Champions League season from tonight right and through to the final, and I want to see you there. The link is available in the description below to download the Topps Kicks 23 app. You can also scan the QR code that will be on the screen throughout the course of this stream. But make sure like buttons are being smashed. You're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Big shout out to Topps. Let's do this.